Picture yourself at the bottom of the biggest mountain you've ever seen. The top is so high, you can't even see it. Your legs feel tired just thinking about climbing it. Your brain tells you, it's too much. You can't do this. But then you take one step, then another, and another. That, friend, is when everything changes. That's when you start your big journey. Now, let me ask you, what's your big mountain? What's that dream that seems so far away? That goal that makes your heart beat fast and your fears shout? Think about it. Because today, we're going to learn how to climb it. Welcome, friend, to the lesson of never giving up. I'm James Earl Jones, and this is Dream Nation Talks. Friend, when was the last time you tried your very hardest? When did you last feel the thrill of doing more than you thought you could? If it's been a while, listen up. We're going to talk about never giving up, the secret of every great person in history. But first, let me tell you a story. A while ago, I had a job I hated. Every morning, I'd get out of bed, feeling sad about my dreams that weren't coming true. I'd look at pictures of my friends online. They seemed to have perfect lives, starting businesses, traveling, doing big things. And there I was feeling left out, wondering what they knew that I didn't. Does that sound like you? I'd look at successful people and think, they must have some special talent I don't have, some secret advantage, some luck. But here's what I learned, friend. There is no secret. There's only trying hard and never giving up. You see, we live in a world that wants quick answers and overnight success. We hear stories about young billionaires, instant stars, and easy changes. We look at perfect pictures on social media, seeing the good stuff, but missing the hard work. The tough times behind every success story are left out. And because of this, we've forgotten something important. Greatness comes from never giving up. Think of it like climbing that big mountain. From the bottom, the top looks so far away. The air feels thin just looking at it. Your legs hurt before you've even started. But here's the thing. People who reach the top don't do it in one big jump. They don't grow wings and fly there. They don't find a magic elevator. No. They do it step by step, day after day, no matter if it's raining or sunny, no matter how they feel. They learn to love the climb. They fall in love with the everyday work. They know that the top is just a moment, but the climb is where the magic happens. It's where you become greater than you ever thought you could become. A smart person long ago understood this. He said, "We are what we do over and over." Being great, then, is not one act, but a habit. This, friend, is what never giving up is all about. It's not about doing big things once in a while. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about knowing that what you do every day shapes who you are. That the difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. What you do every day without stopping is what will make you better. So, how do we learn to never give up? How do we become the kind of person who doesn't just dream big, but chases those dreams without stopping? I'm going to share with you 5 important ideas. These aren't quick fixes. They're tools that, when used every day, will make you unstoppable. The first step in never giving up is knowing exactly what you're going after. You need to see your mountain clearly. What's that big, exciting goal that makes you feel alive What's that dream that both excites you and scares you? Don't hold back. Dream big, really big. Remember, your goals should scare you a little and excite you a lot. Once you have that goal, that mountaintop in mind, see it clearly in your head, feel it. Make it so real in your mind that you can almost touch it. Think about what it looks like when you reach that goal. How will you feel? What will you see? Who will be there with you? The clearer you can see this in your mind, the more it will help you keep going when things get hard. Let me give you an example. When I was younger, I dreamed of being a writer, but not just any writer. I wanted to write books that would touch people's hearts and change their lives. At first it seemed impossible. I didn't know where to start, but I closed my eyes and pictured it. I saw myself typing away at my computer words, flowing onto the screen. I imagined holding my finished book in my hands, feeling its weight. I pictured people reading it, their eyes lighting up as they turned the pages. That vision, friend, that clear picture in my mind is what kept me going through all the hard times, through the rejections, the late nights, the moments of doubt. So take a moment right now, close your eyes, see your dream, make it as real as you can in your mind. That vision will be your guiding star, your North Star, when the path gets tough. Now, let's talk about making your dream clearer. Here's a trick I use. I call it the 5 senses dream check. First, think about what you'll see when you reach your goal. Maybe it's your name on a book cover or a stage you're standing on. Next, what will you hear? Is it applause? The sound of ocean waves at your dream beach house? Then what will you feel? The smooth cover of your book? The warm sun on your face? What about smell? Maybe it's the fresh ink of your new book or the smell of a new office. Finally, what will you taste? The champagne at your book launch party? The salt in the air at your beach house? Using all your senses makes your dream feel more real. It makes it easier to believe in and chase after. Remember, friend, the clearer your dream is in your mind, the easier it is to follow. It's like having a map on your journey. You might still take some wrong turns, but you'll always know where you're heading. Now let's talk about the second idea. It's all about falling in love with the everyday work. Here's something many people don't know. Success isn't about the big moments. It's about the small, everyday actions that add up over time. You need to learn to love the everyday work, not just the end result. Find joy in the daily tasks, the small improvements. Did you write a page today? That's great. Did you make one phone call for your business? That's a win. Did you go for a run even though you didn't want to? You're building your never give up muscle. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. Every master was once new at their skill. The difference? They showed up every day and did the work. Learn to love the everyday work, because that's where the magic happens. Let me share another story with you. When I first started writing, I thought it would be easy. I thought the words would just flow out of me and onto the page. But you know what? It wasn't like that at all. Most days, it was hard, really hard. I'd sit down at my computer and the words wouldn't come. Or they'd come, but they'd be all wrong. There were days when I wanted to quit. Days when I thought, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I should just give up. But then I remembered something important. I remembered that every great writer, every author I admired had days like this too. They didn't become great by waiting for inspiration to strike. They became great by showing up every day and doing the work. So that's what I did. I showed up every day. I wrote even when I didn't feel like it, even when the words came out all wrong. And you know what? Something amazing happened. Slowly but surely, I got better. The words started to flow more easily. The stories started to take shape. But more than that, I fell in love with the process. I started to enjoy the challenge of finding the right words. I started to love the feeling of creating something out of nothing. That's the power of falling in love with the everyday work. It turns the hard days into opportunities. It turns the struggles into stepping stones. So whatever your dream is, whatever mountain you're climbing, find a way to love the everyday climb. Love the small steps, the tiny improvements, because that's where the real magic happens. Here's a trick to help you fall in love with the everyday work. I call it the 1% better game. Every day ask yourself, how can I be 1% better today than I was yesterday? Maybe it's writing one more paragraph than yesterday. Maybe it's holding a yoga pose for 1 second longer. Maybe it's making one more sales call. It doesn't have to be big. In fact, it's better if it's small, because small is doable. Small is something you can do every day. And here's the amazing thing. Those 1% improvements add up. If you get 1% better every day for a year, you'll end up 37 times better. That's the power of loving the everyday work. That's the magic of small daily improvements. So friend, whatever your dream is, find a way to love the daily work. Find a way to enjoy the process, because that's where the real growth happens. That's where you become the person capable of achieving your dreams. Now let's talk about the third idea, building toughness. Toughness is your ability to keep going when things get hard. It's your power to get knocked down 7 times and get up 8. Building toughness means seeing hard times differently. They're not stop signs. They're not even speed bumps. They're chances to get stronger, solve problems, and grow. When you hit a hard time, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Instead, ask, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to get better? Remember, the strongest trees don't grow in calm weather. It's the storms, the winds, the hard times that make their roots grow deep and their trunks grow strong. Welcome the storms in your journey. They're making you stronger. I'll tell you a secret, friend. The toughest people I know, they're not tough because life was easy for them. They're tough because life was hard and they didn't give up. Think about it like this. Imagine you're lifting weights. If you always lift the same light weight, your muscles won't grow. But if you gradually lift heavier and heavier weights, your muscles get stronger. Life works the same way. Each challenge, each setback, each hard time is like a heavier weight. It's not there to stop you. It's there to make you stronger. I remember when I got my first rejection letter from a publisher. It hurt a lot. I felt like giving up. But instead I chose to see it differently. I asked myself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to become a better writer? That shift in thinking, that choice to see challenges as opportunities, That's what builds toughness. And here's the amazing thing. The tougher you get, the bigger challenges you can handle. The bigger challenges you can handle, the closer you get to your dreams. So next time you face a challenge, don't run from it. Don't hide from it. Face it head on. Ask yourself, how can this make me stronger? How can this help me grow? Because remember, friend, the storm you're facing right now, it's not there to break you. It's there to make you unbreakable. Here's a trick to help you build toughness. I call it the thank you challenge. Next time something hard happens in your life, try saying thank you to it. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. When you say thank you to a challenge, you're telling yourself, this is an opportunity. This is a chance to grow. It might feel weird at first, but keep doing it. Say thank you to the traffic jam that makes you late. Say thank you to the criticism that hurts your feelings. Say thank you to the setback that feels like a failure. And as you say thank you, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? Over time, you'll start to see challenges differently. You'll start to welcome them, because you'll know that each challenge is a chance to grow, to get stronger, to get closer to your dreams. Remember, friend, the tough times aren't there to break you. They're there to make you unbreakable. Now let's move on to our fourth idea, quick recovery. Being strong isn't just about getting back up after big problems. It's about getting over small daily disappointments and frustrations quickly. I call this quick recovery, and it's a game changer. Did you miss a deadline? Shake it off and focus again. Did someone say something bad about your work? Thank them for the feedback and use it to get better. Did you have a bad day where nothing went right? Think about it. Learn from it. Then let it go and start fresh tomorrow. The quicker you can get over these small setbacks, the more you'll keep moving forward in your journey. Remember, it's not about never falling. It's about how quickly you get back up. Think of it like this. Imagine you're walking on a path and you trip over a rock. You have two choices. You can lie there feeling bad about tripping, or you can get up, dust yourself off, and keep walking. Quick recovery is all about getting up and keeping going. I'll share another story with you. When I was writing my first book, I set myself a goal. I wanted to write 1,000 words every day. And for the first week, I did great. I hit my goal every single day. But then came day 8. I sat down to write and nothing. The words wouldn't come. I tried and tried. But by the end of the day, I had only written 200 words. I felt terrible. I thought I had failed. I thought about giving up on my goal. But then I remembered the idea of quick recovery. Instead of beating myself up, I thought, okay, today didn't go as planned. What can I learn from this? How can I do better tomorrow? I realized I had been pushing myself too hard. So I adjusted my goal. Instead of 1,000 words every day, I aimed for 5,000 words a week. This gave me more flexibility. The next day I sat down and wrote 1,200 words. I had recovered quickly and I was back on track. That's the power of quick recovery. It turns bad days into learning experiences. It keeps you moving forward, even when things don't go as planned. So remember, friend, it's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. It's about getting back up quickly every time you fall. Here's a trick to help you practice quick recovery. I call it the 5-minute rule. When something goes wrong, give yourself 5 minutes, just 5 minutes to feel bad about it, to complain, to wish things were different. But when those 5 minutes are up, that's it. It's time to recover. It's time to ask, what next? What can I do now? This rule does two things. First, it gives you permission to feel bad. Because let's face it, sometimes things are just hard. And it's okay to acknowledge that. But it also stops you from getting stuck in those bad feelings. It puts a time limit on them. After 5 minutes, it's time to move forward. Try it next time something doesn't go your way. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Feel all the frustration and disappointment. But when that timer goes off, it's time to recover. It's time to get back on track. Remember, quick recovery isn't about never feeling bad. It's about not letting those bad feelings stop you. It's about getting back up and keeping going, no matter what. Now let's talk about our fifth and final idea. Working harder than your doubts. Self-doubt is the biggest enemy of never giving up. It's that voice in your head that says, you're not good enough. You can't do this. Who do you think you are? Here's the secret. Everyone has that voice. Even the most successful people you look up to. The difference is they've learned to work harder than that voice. When you start to doubt yourself, work even harder. Let your actions speak louder than your fears. Can't stop thinking you're not good enough? Go practice your skill for an extra hour. Worried you'll never reach your goal? Take one more step towards it right now. Feeling like you don't belong? Remind yourself of how far you've already come. Action silences doubt. So when the doubts get loud, let your work speak even louder. I'll tell you something, friend. When I was writing my book, there were days when the doubts were so loud I could barely think. Days when I was sure I was fooling myself thinking I could be a writer. But instead of listening to those doubts, I chose to work. Every time the voice in my head said, "You can't do this," I sat down and wrote another page. Every time it said, "You are not good enough," I read a book on how to improve my writing. I worked harder than my doubts. And you know what? Over time, those doubts got quieter. They didn't disappear completely, but they lost their power over me. That's what happens when you outwork your doubts. They lose their power. They can't stop you anymore. So whenever you feel those doubts creeping in, remember, you have a choice. You can listen to the doubts,